Hello, you guys. I pray that y'all are doing great on today. You all, please excuse my hair because I've taken it down, washed it, and it's drying out. It's poofing up. So, okay. But I just wanted to talk about something that I had a conversation with the Lord yesterday. No, day before yesterday, I was praying and just, I took a ride talking to God. Because I think, people sometimes think, the older they get, that they may not, you know, need any working on themselves. And I was talking to someone that I knew, and we was just talking about a lot of things, and it brought me back to some things. So I began to, just dig deep in myself and talk to God about something. So I believe that God is preparing me, and is the reason why I'm going through these different emotions and feelings. So I was talking to God, and I was just like, Lord, my mom been married, my dad been married, my sister been married. I've never been married. Okay. And God began to bring me back, to my childhood. Okay, like my dad's side of the family, my mom and my dad separated. Then things began to get hard for me and my sister. But, I don't just want to talk about that, but I'm talking about what God began to show me. Okay, being with my dad and his side, being with my dad was the best thing that could ever happen to us. But my mom, I love my mom, but I began to remember some things like my mom side of the family. They fought a lot and they argued a lot. But I'm young. I'm not knowing what's going on. My mom loved it us, but I had an aunt that really kind of mistreated me. Um, it's like more like being a slave. And but one thing, and so that made me kind of. I never, now one thing I will not forget, y'all, I'm trying to get this out because I really do think I need to do some more deep searching about this here within myself and with the Lord. Um, because I know, although I have dealt with it some, but I'm talking about just breaking it from the root because although sometimes we think that we may be, just rid of a situation, but you may not be, because I feel like God is preparing me for something. And I just say like, okay, when you meet your significant other, you have to merge. You two are merging together. Both of you all have grew up from different pasts, and and sometimes people don't deal with their past, and that is the reason why I began to think about my situation, because me and the person was talking about this. The person that was married was talking about something, and they like. I thank God, though, even though I haven't been married, I do thank God for my singleness because I think that everything happening is all going to work out for my good. And never forget, I used to say, why my aunt picked on me, out of all the people, whatever. And although she may have picked on others, but I knew what was going on with me. And but I never forget when the Lord say that you told me that I was chosen. And I just think about, and I'm not going to go into the things that, that happen because, sometimes it may not be molestation, but it's other things that people go through, traumatized, and I used to cry when I talk about it. That's why I know that I am, like I said, I worked on it some, but God is still, he brought me back to that. And and I was like, okay, God, so what is this? What's going on with me? So I said, all this to say this, one thing, when my aunt was treating me bad, my mom was never there because my mom didn't play. And if she, when they knew my mom was coming, they would tell us, my mom, they would, they would treat us nice. But as long as my mom wasn't there, we was getting treated wrong. But I always protected, it's like I was always protecting my sister because I didn't want her to be hurt. So I always would protect myself. Now this part I don't know why I want to cry, but okay. And when I know I did this on a video a while back when I told my dad I said I hated my mom. And I was a child, though, I love my mother, y'all. But I thank God for having the dad that I had, because he stopped the car and he said, don't ever let me hear you say that again. You love me and your mom the same. And when he said that, I just started crying. But I thank God for my dad, because I do love my mom. But it was just I was going through some things as a child, trying to protect my sister while being treated like I was. But then my mom left. And so God, let me tell y'all, what God is showing me, that like the relationships that I did have, like when I was in the world, I could get in a relationship and be in one, and okay, you do what you want to do. But when you in God, you begin to date differently, right? And when I thought I met people that I thought was in God, I had people walk out of my life. I had people that I know that I was treating them nice and being a good person that I could be. But at the end, I was, they was walking out of my life. And see, and I told y'all about the last relationship where I never ever had to be aggressive. But I think that relationship made me to become aggressive, because, my family, people that love me and close to me, they would tell me that at times, but I never did realize that, because I'm like, no, I'm not aggressive. But it's like when you constantly trying to tell people who you are, and you trying to prove to people who you are, and they not believing you. Like, for one thing, you shouldn't even have to prove to nobody. And you shouldn't have to keep constantly telling people who you are. Because when a person really truly love you and is willing to grow with you, God, that they would do that. And see, that's why it was just, I think it was so hard for me, because I kept meeting people. And I think it's because I never really understood what was going on. And until now. And God is beginning to show me what is really, truly going on, And so I said, okay, God, I thank God, because it's like I didn't want people to walk out of my life, because that's what my mom did at that time. But they still did. And I said, okay, God, so that's probably why I was, being so nice and being so kind. Just me, I'm generally just a good person anyway. And I think I have to deal with it altogether, you guys. Just deal with that part, because, then you talk to people. Some people, one thing I learned, you can't talk to everybody, because people don't understand that when you in God, it's different. Like trying to date is different, because things that you would put up with in the world, maybe you're not gonna put up with when you saved. Like you may shack up when you in the world and you don't know no better. Like, but when you in God, you're not gonna do that if you really living right. And some do it. I'm talking about if you living right and you really fear, God. And so, and it's a lot of things that you just not gonna accept. Like, back in the days when you growing up and you meet a person, all they want is sex and this and that. That's maybe all you want at that time, but as you go older, you get wiser and things are different. And like, people don't understand it. Sometimes people be just asking me all these questions, like, why this? And, like, I supposed to just accept everybody. Like, and then it begin to make me feel like, okay, God, what am I doing wrong? Like, and I don't like that type of stuff. And I had to come back to myself and I had to say, Lord, it's not nothing that I done. I'm not going to switch up on God to be with no man. And if don't nobody really understand that, I'm sorry. In my life, because I can't do that. I'm not going to switch up who I am to get a man, because I know that I'm not doing anything wrong. Like, I have my issues. Nobody's perfect. Like, we're going to have things that you got to work on. But I'm just saying, like, I have never... Me personally, I never had a person to be willing to stay in a relationship, to get married and to work on, like build together. Like when things, because of whatever issues, and I think it was God, because I always ask God to keep me covered and protect me from person that wasn't for me. So it's not by coincidence. Like, I'm not the only person in the world that had never been married, But see, the enemy will make you think that because people asking you all these questions and making it like, okay, I'm supposed to have a time limit on this. But I think that God still want me to deal with that, little part of for me. What I'm doing for me right now, I'm personally working on myself. And I don't want to be aggressive. Being a single parent, like I said, my kids dead. I left him when my children was little. And I got back in the Lord when I was young. So I've been walking with the Lord for a long time, over 20 years now. Like, and so, yeah, I've been by myself. So, okay, if I am aggressive, I may not have seen it. But when you get with somebody that's willing to build together with you, I feel like you may see things in you that a person, you may not see things in you that another person can see. And if you're willing to work together on things, that's good. But at the same time, like when you by yourself and God begin to show you these things, then you can still work on them even the more by yourself. So that's why I just want to talk about, you guys. Go back, if you feeling some type of way, because a lot of times we don't understand maybe what you're feeling, what you're going through. And sometimes and it's getting dark, you guys, out here. Well, in the truck, rather. Sometimes you just have to go back and dig into, things that you've been through, and go back and dig into those things, and just see what God is showing you, because God is preparing you for something. He could be preparing you for something, and so you can go and work on that. But don't beat yourself up. Don't change who you are to be with anybody, because I feel like the person that God has for you, they'll come in the right time, no matter the age. And yes, it's everybody's dream to be married at a young age, but some of us didn't. And then you got some people that's been married more than once, and they're not working on their issue, like, okay. But that's just something that I wanted to talk about, you guys. I love my mom. I never, ever not liked it, my mom, because of when her and my dad separated, and she went one, I don't know what, why she chose to go, I don't know how she healed, whatever, what it took for her to heal, but I still loved my mom. But my dad, she left us with my dad. She had left us with my dad, but my aunt on my, mom's side took it upon herself to want to come and get us, and and we just, and it was just pretty miserably. I mean, hell, it was just pretty hell, and but God, I ended up having to take care of that aunt too. And so I don't know if that, because I don't know if I just covered that up, or I don't know if I ever just really dealt with it, because I've never been to a counselor. But God has showed me how to heal just through the church and things of that nature. Not like going to the church, but just He showed me how to walk through deliverance. And I'm not saying it is not good to go to therapy, because I believe, it is just good. Go to therapist, counselor, whatever. I really do believe that. But yes, that's just something that I wanted to talk about, you guys. Don't just trade. Don't trade, y'all. Look, it's getting dark out here. Don't swipe or switch up. Don't do things just to have a man or a woman. I love you guys to life. I'm going to go because it's getting dark. And I just wanted to come on, just share that thought, Be prepared. Prepare yourself, because God is about to do something. He's about to do something for you, for me. And I promise you, whatever He's about to do, whether it's marriage, finances, buy your new house, whatever, the person that God has for you, they're going to accept you and love you and grow with you now. I'm not talking about accepting foolishness and craziness and all that type of stuff. But they're going to love you, and you all will grow together. And the same thing with the house and finances. Start preparing, because, everything's going to be in order. Because you don't want to just be all book wild with your finances, and God bless you, dear. You don't even know how to do, budget and work on you. You'll be just on everybody in debt before you can even, well, not in debt, broke, before you can, get to the next year. So I love you guys a lot. Know that you just love me more. Be encouraged, and God bless.